Welcome to Esoterisphere. You've probably seen the phrase "as above, so below" on tattoos, memes, and moody Pinterest boards. But what if it is more than just a cool aesthetic line? What if it is a practical instruction manual for how your inner world quietly shapes your outer life? Tonight we are going to unpack the second Hermetic principle from the Kybalion and ask a simple question. If reality is full of mirrors, what exactly is it trying to show you? Welcome to Esoterisphere, and thank you for joining us. In part 1 of this series, we explored the principle of mentalism. The idea that the all is mind, the universe is mental. That principle sets the stage. It says that reality itself has a mind-like quality. Consciousness is not some side effect of matter. Instead, everything we experience is happening within a vast, living field of mind. The principle of correspondence builds directly on that foundation. If reality behaves like a mind, then patterns repeat. Thoughts echo across different levels of existence. What shows up in one layer of reality will have a reflection in another. The Kybalion sums it up in one line. As above, so below. As below, so above. Short, simple, uncomfortable. Because, if the universe is full of mirrors, then some of those mirrors might be reflecting things we would rather not see. In this video, we will explore where this principle comes from, what it actually means, how people have used it in magic and mysticism, and what it looks like in real life when you actually try to live by it. Let's start by clearing up a little myth. You will sometimes hear people say that "as above, so below" is an ancient phrase from thousands of years ago, carved into some mysterious stone tablet from Atlantis. The reality is both less dramatic and much more interesting. The saying is most famously associated with the Emerald Tablet of Hermes, a short Hermetic text probably written in late antiquity or the early medieval period. The wording varies by translation, but the core idea is there. The Kybalion, written in the early 1900s, takes that older Hermetic idea and distills it into the neat little slogan most people quote today. So no, we do not have a Hermetic Principles handbook from 3500 BCE. The Kybalion itself is modern. But it is drawing on concepts that go back at least to the Hellenistic Hermetica, and those were already remixing Egyptian, Greek, and other ancient philosophies. That matters, because it keeps us honest. We are not pretending this is some untouched artifact from prehistory. We are looking at how modern occult writers tried to organize and express a very old insight. Reality is layered, and those layers rhyme with each other. The principle of correspondence is basically that rhyme scheme in action. As above, so below does not just mean the stars affect you, or heaven controls earth. It means that the same kinds of patterns show up in the cosmic scale and in the human scale, and even in the microscopic inner worlds of thoughts and feelings. Macrocosm and microcosm. Big universe and little universe. You, and everything you are inside, are a miniature map of the bigger reality you live in. So what does the Kybalion say about this principle? In simple language, it claims that there are multiple planes or levels of reality. These planes are different in degree, not in kind. Patterns repeat across these planes. Mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical realities are not separate boxes. They are different layers of one continuous field. What appears on one layer has an echo, or correspondence, on the others. You can imagine it like this. Think of music playing through a series of speakers in different rooms. Each speaker has its own sound quality and volume, but they are all playing the same song. If you walk from room to room, you hear different versions of the same pattern. The principle of correspondence says that life is doing something like that with patterns. You see certain dynamics in your personal life. The same dynamic shows up in your family. It appears again in your workplace. Then you turn on the news and see it playing out in politics, religion, or global events. Different rooms. Same song. If we really believe the universe is mind-like, that the all is mind, then it makes sense that the song of reality would repeat motifs. That it would echo ideas at different scales. The Kybalion's promise is that, if you learn to recognize these repeating motifs, you can understand more than just your own situation. You can infer how things work on levels you cannot see directly, by studying the levels you can. As above, so below. As within, so without. The pattern is the bridge. Now, let's bring this down from occult theory into something more familiar, psychology. On a very practical level, the principle of correspondence shows up in the way our inner state colors the world we see. If you wake up anxious, everything in your day feels sharp and hostile. Minor inconveniences look like personal attacks. Neutral comments sound like criticism. If you wake up grounded and content, the same events roll off your back. That person who cut you off in traffic becomes a tired stranger, not a villain. That coworker's tone becomes stress, not hatred. The external events did not change. Your inner weather did. As above, so below is not only about mystical planes. It is also about this simple, brutal fact. Your mind is constantly projecting its patterns onto reality. We do this with relationships. We do this with authority figures. We do this with the idea of God. We take unresolved patterns from childhood or from past trauma and unconsciously map them onto the present moment. The annoying thing is that the world often cooperates. When you expect rejection, you behave defensively. That defensive energy pushes people away. The principle of correspondence becomes a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy engine. You can look at this in a very cold, psychological way and never mention Hermeticism. Or, you can say the mental plane and the physical plane are echoing each other again. Inner critic above. External critics below. Inner chaos above. Chaotic life below. This is not about blaming people for everything that happens to them. It is about noticing how often our inner patterns shape the way we interpret, respond to, and even create outer situations. If the universe is filled with mirrors, then therapy, shadow work, and honest self-reflection become tools for cleaning those mirrors, not just staring at them. Now let's look at the more explicitly occult side of this principle. For centuries, magicians and mystics have used the principle of correspondence as the philosophical backbone of ritual. The idea is simple. If the small reflects the large, then by consciously shaping the small, we can align with the large. An altar is a microcosm of the universe. The 4 elements on the altar correspond to the 4 directions, to aspects of the psyche, to different types of energy. A candle flame corresponds to spirit, or inspiration. Water corresponds to emotion. The physical objects stand in for invisible forces. Tarot works the same way. Each card is not just a picture, but a map of a pattern that appears across multiple levels. The Fool can be a moment in your life, a developmental stage, a cosmic principle of beginnings, or all of the above. Sigils, planetary hours, color correspondences, ceremonial robes. The logic behind it is Hermetic. The mage is saying, if reality is layered, and patterns rhyme across those layers, then setting up a small symbolic version of the pattern is a way to tune myself into the bigger reality that the pattern describes. Whether you see that as literal cosmic influence or as a powerful psychological tool, the underlying principle is the same. Ritual becomes a kind of living diagram of the universe. You step into the diagram, move through it, and let it move through you. As above, so below turns magic into a language of echoes. That is all beautiful theory, but how do you actually live it? Here are some practical ways to work with the principle of correspondence without needing a temple or a robe. Start tracking patterns across scales. Pick a recurring theme in your life. For example, feeling unheard, or struggling with authority, or constantly rushing. Ask, where does this show up inside me? Where does it show up in my close relationships? Where does it show up in my work or community? Where do I see this pattern in the wider world? You are not forcing a meaning onto everything. You are gently scanning for echoes. Use small actions as symbolic acts. If your life feels cluttered and stuck, cleaning one corner of your space becomes a ritual. You are not just tidying a shelf. You are telling your nervous system, order is possible. You are creating a mini version of the reality you want, on a scale you can control. The point is not magical thinking, like cleaning this drawer will make me rich. The point is alignment, bringing your physical environment into harmony with the inner movement you want to cultivate. Build a simple personal altar or focal point. This does not have to be religious. It can be a small shelf with objects that represent qualities you care about. Maybe a stone for stability, a candle for clarity, a glass of water for emotional flow, a photo or symbol that reminds you of your highest values. Spend a few minutes each day sitting with it, breathing, and remembering what those symbols mean to you. The altar is a miniature above that you can step into from your below. Use the body as a bridge. If you treat your body as a microcosm, then physical practices become ways to shift mental and emotional patterns. Grounding through your feet reflects grounding in your thoughts. Opening your chest reflects openness in your heart. Slowing your breath reflects slowing intrusive thoughts. The Hermetic view says these are not just poetic metaphors. They are literal correspondences. Changing one level influences the others. When you start thinking this way, nothing is just anything. Every small act can become a deliberate echo of the larger reality you are trying to participate in. Of course, any powerful idea can be twisted, and the principle of correspondence is no exception. One of the most damaging misuses of as above, so below shows up in victim blaming. When people say things like, "You must have attracted this suffering." Your outer reality proves your inner failure. That's not Hermetic wisdom. It's cruelty dressed in esoteric language. Hermeticism acknowledges multiple planes of reality. There are inner patterns, but there are also social structures, material conditions, and random events. Not everything that happens to someone is a direct reflection of their thoughts or spiritual state. Another trap is overinterpreting coincidences. Once you start looking for patterns, you will find them everywhere. This can be powerful, but it can also become paranoia. Every song on the radio becomes a message. Every number you see becomes a sacred code. A healthier approach is to ask, is this pattern genuinely helpful for my growth, or am I forcing a meaning because I am uncomfortable with randomness? You can honor synchronicity without turning the entire universe into a conspiracy board. There is also the risk of bypassing action. As above, so below does not mean you can ignore real-world effort. You can journal your intentions and meditate on your dreams and still need to send the email, have the difficult conversation, or go to the doctor. Correspondence means that inner work and outer work are linked, not that one replaces the other. Maybe the most important safeguard is humility. You and I can work with patterns. We can notice correspondences. But none of us sees the entire map. In a way, the principle of correspondence is an invitation to Gnosis. Not Gnosis as trivia about the hidden masters of the universe. Gnosis as direct insight into how reality is threaded together. When you watch for patterns, you start to see how your inner life, your relationships, and the larger world are not separate stories. They are different pages in the same book. You recognize that your struggle with control mirrors a culture obsessed with control. Your longing for meaning mirrors a world full of lost rituals. Your small acts of kindness mirror a deeper pattern of compassion moving through existence. As above, so below becomes more than a slogan. It becomes a lens. You stop asking what isolated thing is happening to me, and start asking what pattern is trying to reveal itself here, and what is my role in it. That does not mean everything is preordained, or that you are to blame for every storm. It means you are not separate from the weather systems of reality. Your thoughts, choices, and habits participate in a pattern that stretches far beyond your individual story. In Hermetic terms, you are the microcosm learning to consciously harmonize with the macrocosm. You are the small echo learning to sing with the larger song. So when you hear as above so below from now on, you can remember, it's not just about stars and planets, or some distant spiritual realm. It is about the way your inner life, your body, your relationships, and the world at large are constantly reflecting one another. The principle of correspondence is an invitation to pay attention. To treat your life as a map of larger truths. And to let your smallest actions become sacred echoes of the reality you want to live in. I am curious how this lands for you. When you look at your own life, where do you see the principle of as above so below at work? Is there a pattern that keeps repeating on multiple levels? Let me know in the comments. I read them, and they genuinely help guide where we take this series next. If this exploration of the Kybalion and Hermetic philosophy is helpful for you, it would mean a lot if you would give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with someone who is also wandering the weird edges of spirituality. Thank you for being here, for thinking with me, and for doing the inner work. Until next time, remember, the pattern is already here. The question is what you choose to echo.